Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. So today's video is going to be a little different. I've got a class. I gotta switch hands with the class. I've got a class Saturday that we're recording, and that is the defensive carbine course. And I want to make sure that my gun was zeroed. So I'm going to go outside real quick. I'm going to make sure that still has a good zero, just because day to day I do bang it around a lot. So make sure I have a good 50-yard zero, and I'll be back. Alright, so I'm back. It's back in the case. I've confirmed it has zero. Now I'm going to clean it just to be on the safe side. The funny thing is, when I was recording earlier, I've got cameras in my office around here that feeds for all in there, and a camera in here that records me. It's kind of odd, besides this camera. They could hear me talking, so they thought it was funny to zoom in on specifically just me, but I caught them. You know who you are. Alright, so to the point. I'm not going to show you guys me cleaning the gun. You've already seen it. There's a video where I do it. I'll put it right here if you're interested. But what mainly we're going to be talking about is the tools to do it. So normally when we clean, I have one of these at my house. You have a big cleaning kit like this, full of everything you need, all your tools, all that stuff. But if you're at the range and you need to do a quick, dirty cleaning, the last thing you're going to do, obviously, is carry that big, bulky box around. So you usually end up, I got to get it out of my bag. Alright. So if you're at the range and you need to clean it on the fly, obviously you're not going to carry the big toolbox or big tackle box or whatever you have. So usually you have a small, at least I do. I always carry it every day, just I never know when I'm going to need it. It's just a small cleaning kit, and I put patches on mine just because I had patches laying around. And that just has the basic things that you're going to need. I've thrown more things in there than it came with. So I've thrown in gun oil, CLP, a bore snake, and a bunch of other stuff. So, but we're not talking about that. We're talking about, because I don't have any tools in there. So Firefield sent me this. Now, I'm going to be really clear and transparent. No money exchanged hands. They're not paying me to review this. They have a specific multi-tool that they market for the AR user, or for people that live here, the other. Now, I usually do carry a tool with me all the time. And if it's not on my belt, as in my gun belt, it is in or on my bag. And that is a Leatherman Mutt, which is designed for AR platforms, right? So this is what I generally carry. This is an everyday carry for me, but I'm not reviewing this because there's a million reviews already on it. If you want one, go get them. Firefield, however, they have one that's very similar. Things are different, and we're going to go over each individual item in here. And you can see right up front, it's got driver tips. So let me get my stuff together, get some gloves on, and I'll flip the camera around, and you guys will get to see this. Alright, so you guys have seen me clean this particular type of gun before. When I'm cleaning mine, I always like to take the sling off just to make it a little easier to maneuver around. You don't always need to have a sling on it. Just trying to keep the sling from falling. Alright, so the Firefield tool. So when you open it up, you're going to have 3 bits that are right here. And you have a couple of star tips and a hex head. These are mainly designed for working on scope and scope rings. So when you pull it out, of the sheath. And remember, we're comparing this to a mutt, which this mutt is the breacher version or the EOD version. So it's got the spot for crimping blast caps, cutting deck cord, and all that stuff. This is what we're going to talk about. So on the outside, sturdy metal construction. This right here, when I first looked at it, I was like, oh, maybe it's a magnet. Nope, it's not a magnet. It's actually a hardened surface for hammering if you needed to hammer on something. So that's always a plus. Opening it up, the first thing I noticed that I really liked is it is spring loaded. I love spring loaded. And it makes it so much easier so I don't have to force it open. It just opens on its own. You got cutters, of course, areas for gripping nuts and bolts and whatever else. So inside each arm of it, we're going to start on this side, you have your blade, which is for scraping, not really cutting anything. So it's small, it's thin. This one's a little bit larger. Then you have this tool right here. You can see it's got a little hook on it, and we'll discuss what this is for in a minute. And then you have a small scribe for getting into tight areas. So the way these latch is there's a little knurled area right here. You hear it click, it's locked in, it's not moving. To release it, push here, it unlocks, and you can close it. On the other side, you've got this big rectangular chunk, and what this right here is for is cleaning the star chamber, getting inside and really scraping it. Obviously this metal is going to be a lot softer than this metal, as to this won't damage this, but it will clean it. This will give in before this will give in. On the other side of that, you've got a smaller scraper. Of course, it's got a little hex part cut out for nuts. It has the bottle opener, which you always need a bottle opener. And then it has, in the middle, the bit driver part, where this just sits in here, locks in magnetically. So if you need to use a screwdriver, which when I was zeroing the P320, this is what I was using, because the screwdriver was small enough to get into the dial on that Romeo Pro sight. So it worked out well. One other feature that I do like, much like the Leatherman mutt, is all of these items that are in here obviously are going to wear down, but they are replaceable. You can take these screws out and replace what's in here. Much like this one, which you can pull apart and replace parts. So, I gotta keep it open. Alright, so what I really want to show you is this right here, this tool. Alright, I'll show you exactly what it's for. I have to start ripping this down to get to be able to use this tool, so we're just going to cut straight to that. Okay, so as you can see, it's dirty, but it's not super dirty. So one of the things you can use this for, which I always have trouble depressing the little spring, right? Just because I have no nails getting in there. I mean, as you're squishing it in the skin, it does not feel good. So with that, you can depress, put that on there, and I'm trying to do this on camera. Boom. And now it comes right out. So that's one way to use this. The other thing that it's really good for is sometimes you might have trouble getting the cotter pin out. This is perfect for getting in there, scooping the pin, pulling it, and then you don't drop it. So then you just make sure cotter pin is on one of the little mats. What I think that's supposed to be silver. Well, I think mine's more matte black, but this is definitely dirty. It's seen better days. So, nice thorough cleaning before the class, and I'll be good. So, I'm going to cut the camera off and not bore you guys with cleaning all this. When I come up to a part where I'll be using this to clean some things. Oh, real quick. Now, normally, to get this pin out right, I always said that you use the firing pin. You can. But this also will fit right in there. You push, the pin pops right out. There you go. Remember, you don't lose the pin. You pull that off. Boom. So, 3 different points where this little 90-degree turned piece of round metal came in handy. Can't go wrong with that. One of the places that's always a real pain in the rear to clean is right here. So, the perfect tool for that is that small scribe looking thing. Because now you're able to get right into the corner and scrape it. To get it clean. Now, in the full cleaning kit, obviously you've got dental picks, right? These happen to be plastic from Lyman Products. I do have a few metal ones, but again, I don't really like taking metal to metal if I can help it in certain areas. This right here, sometimes metal, like these are just too bendy. You need to get in here with a softer metal, softer than the metal that this is, but not everybody's going to be carrying these around every day. I just happen to carry it in the kit. This, however, is small enough that it can fit in your range bag. And it's got all the tools you're going to need, along with, you get a little pouch with some CLP. All you really need is Rand CLP. You don't need grease. The bore and bolt cleaner you really don't need. A little CLP in this bad boy, and a throwaway rag. You can definitely get a cleaning done on the fly. And of course, you know, like I said in the last video, I am not putting a ton of pressure into it. Now, over around this area is where you're going to build up most of the heavy carbon, especially if you use it a lot or you don't clean it so well. So that's where the scraper comes in, because now you can sit there and scrape it like toward you. I would never recommend going toward you. Always go away. And you can just sit here and break loose any carbon that might build up. And you can see there's a little bit right there. I don't know, maybe you can't see it. There was a little bit there though. I've already got most of it off. Just because I usually clean this pretty relentlessly. Just because I don't want any carbon on it. So. That'll work. And you can also use it, because it does have a point, you could use it right in here. Right in here, But this is all pretty much clean, already scraped inside. Of course, you know, you can't fit it in here, but Q-tip gets in there. So, all right, just wanted to show you the different tools I was using at the moment right on there. And I'll get back to cleaning, and when I start to use it again, I'll come back and show you. When it comes to cleaning the main body of the bolt carrier group, sometimes it's a little hard to get inside here. I myself will use a swab for like a 12 gauge or whatever I can pretty much get in there. But back to this. This is perfect for getting in and scraping. As you can see, that's pretty nasty in there. So I'll wipe that off. Look at that. That's all down toward the bottom. Of course, right here. That wasn't bad, but that was nasty. So. Now, obviously, if you're going to clean in here, it's not going to fit. What you can do is break it loose, and now it'll fit in there. Which it's not really all that dirty. Because I've pretty much already got in there and scrubbed it all out. So. Just thought you'd like to see another use for that. This is a side note. As you all know, I like to use the 12 gauge to clean down in here because the 12 gauge fits. Problem is, look at the size of that. Okay, that won't fit your rod. So what you need is you can buy right here. It's a step down, so it'll fit a normal rod, which I just happen to have it set in there. See, it fits. Screw it on, and then just get that out of the way. I was cleaning the trigger assembly. That's it. And now I'll inspect it. So one of the things I really do like about this scraper is when you're trying to get way down in the bottom here, sometimes it can be a real pain in the butt. But what I like to do generally is I just kind of fill up with CLP, drop a patch in there, and yeah, I know you can't see it, but get the patch in there, and then using the little scraper in conjunction with the little patch, I move it back and forth to get rid of all the carbon buildup. The CLP is broken up. As you can see, I scooted out the back. Did a pretty good job. And that's just me dropping it in, putting this on there, turning it, and then scraping it back and forth. Just to really help pick up the CLP and all the carbon. So I just finished cleaning my other, so I am ready and good to go for Saturday's class, which will be an upcoming video. We'll be using GoPros, and from what I've heard, rumor mill now, because of everything going on in the world, they're going to be using flashbangs, smoke grenades, and a whole bunch of other cool stuff to really build the stress up for this particular class for the training. we'll see if that happens. Hopefully, everything will make a great, stunning video, and I won't chop it up too much, but I'm not going to be recording the whole time. Just if I'm doing that, then I'm not obviously paying attention. So, most likely what's going to happen is I'll record, and then maybe give a little commentary afterward on the training itself. Later, a different day, probably not that night, 'cause I've seen their training, and you're going to get run ragged. Alright, so, if you're going to the range, or you're just part of your everyday carry, you're looking for some sort of multi-tool. It's smart to have a multi-tool. I have multi-tools in the cars, of various different things, because each one has its own purpose, right? So I have the generic ones in the glove boxes for, you break down, you need to fix something, so on and so forth. More specifically, in my everyday carry kit, I am carrying the Leatherman Mutt. This is the EOD/Breacher version. But an alternative to that, because that one is rather expensive, I myself did not pay for this one. This is issued by Uncle Sam, and when I was done, they did not want it back. You get yourself the Firefield version, which I'll have the description and the website where you can buy one linked in the description below. But this, perfectly fine. Worked great. Like I said, I like the fact this is spring-loaded versus this one is not. So, I have to constantly move it, and sometimes it's nice to have things that spring-loaded so you can grab it and then just relax your hand and let it go. It's got all the essential tools you need for your AR, or probably any other gun that you're using, but again, this was designed specifically for the AR platform. I'm pretty sure even in the description they call it the AR tool. It's a great multi-tool to add to your everyday carry, or at least to your range bag, so when you're at the range, if you have some sort of weird malfunction, or you need to tighten things down, because you know darn well, when you're shooting, it's a lot of force, a lot of stuff going on. Some things might get loose, especially like a cover for the battery, which I know on the 320, it said every 500 rounds you need to re-torque the battery cap. At least break the torque and re-torque it. Well, not everybody's going to be running around with a torque wrench at the range. So, in the meantime, what you can do is if it does get loose, you can just use the tools that are in here, mainly the screwdriver head or the hex or whatever you need, to tighten it down till you get home and you're able to put it on the bench and actually torque it. For the money, this is a great deal. I would recommend it. If you're going to get more serious, well, you can always buy once, cry once. But this is fine. We're not running around in the Middle East needing this, which, like I said, how many people out there are cutting det cord and using the C4 spike for the det cord? One, maybe two people that actually watch this. The rest of you are not doing something like that, so you don't need the Breacher/EOD tool. But you could use a regular multi-purpose tool like this from Firefield for your AR, for a range bag, or if you're into having truck guns, things like that, or if you have some sort of everyday carry that consists of the AR or other platform. This is always nice to have in your gear in case you have some sort of malfunction, or if you have to bug out, leave, at least you have something to do some repairs while you're trekking to wherever you need to go, because as we all know, times are spicy. Something like this could be a game changer, could save your life, especially if you have some sort of weird malfunction and you desperately need tools. There you go. And it's not heavy. Compared to this one, this is a lot lighter. Comes in a nice little case with all your bits. Good rugged snap to lock it all in. It says Firefield. and it's got a little strap in the back, little MOLLE type thing, so you can use Velcro or whatever you're doing to put this on your gear, such as a plate carrier, a gun belt, or just throw it in the range bag, or just your EDC bag. It's good to have. I personally am going to probably throw this in my everyday carry bag and move the other one to my gun belt, which I don't have with me every day. But I usually run something like this on my gun belt because, again, out in the field, away from your FOB, your forward operating base, or home, if you have some sort of problem, you need tools. This is perfect for my everyday carry because it's lighter than that one. That one I can then put on my gun belt and be good to go. So, if you guys have any questions, put them in the comments below. If you have something like this, let me know in the comments below. And as always, I will see you guys on the trail. Stay safe in the fray. I'm out. Roll the outro.